So moving on from the last part, luckily the guns are movable. I didn't manage to glue any of them solid, so that's good. We're now in a position to start attaching a lot of detail to the hull. Things like the torpedo net boom locating points. All the portholes we can start doing as well. The anchor shelves. So we'll make a start on the portholes first, I think. Okay, so we're going to use the Pontus portholes, and we get two different styles. We get the plain open type, and then we get these ones here which have got protective bars over the front, and these appear to go around the area of the anchor shelves and that under the admiral's block. And I believe the bars would be to protect the porthole from damage from anchor chains flapping about and whatnot. So we'll cut them out again. I'm just using MDF this time just because of the reflections. So as you can see, I've left some ribs on. Now, because they're curves, I'm not so keen to use the full edge scissors, so probably end up filing them. So the best way to hold them, because they're so small, is what I've done is I've taken an ordinary wooden clothes peg and I've sanded the front of it down. So what you do is pick one where the mating surface is nice and smooth, and then sand back some relief so we can get in. And I've also put a couple of strips of wood onto one side because these things have got a tendency to go out of alignment, which is annoying. So the two side strips or bars, whatever, they just keep it better aligned. Okay, hopefully you can see the little tab sticking out. So we'll just come in with the diamond file. So what I'll do is when I come to cut the rest of them out, I'll maybe try and get closer to the part and not leave such a big tab. But hopefully you can see that's that cleaned up. That's got a bigger tab on it. Okay, so that's the first one done. So that's all the portholes cut out and cleaned up that I need. So we've got the plain type and then the barred type as well. So this is a good point to discuss placement of them. So in the past I've used this wax pickup pencil. They're really good. You just need the slightest touch and the part's picked up. And then when you've got the glue, it transfers easily onto the part. The good thing about these is, it's a full length pencil. If you start losing the stickiness or tackiness, you can just sharpen it again with a pencil sharpener, or you can just scrape the blade to refresh it. So it doesn't matter if you get glue or whatever on it. I quite like using a very sharp point just for control. The other alternative that a friend pointed out to me was these silicone tab ones, and the tip it's just like a blob of silicone. And I've never used it before, but I found it's very strong, and sometimes it's quite hard to get off. Not hard, but it sounds a bit too sticky. But we'll see how it goes. We'll try them both. The only issue I can see with this type is you have to watch you don't get a tip contaminated with glue, and you need to keep it covered so it doesn't get covered in dust and dirt, which again would affect its stickiness. It's got a big tip on the end, which is very strong. See, it's actually almost picking up the whole pencil. I believe if it's just contaminated with dust and dirt, you can wash the tips warm soapy water and just run it under the water and let it air dry, and it should return to its former stickiness. But we'll try them both anyway. Okay, so I went ahead and glued some of the portholes on just as a test, proof of concept, and then some practice before I showed you the method I finalised on. So I used thin CA glue, and it was applied using some homemade glue dispensers, just made by cutting off the heads of needles. So the middle one was my first attempt, and I don't know if you can see, it dispensed too much glue, so it kind of wicked out the sides as well. So on the one on the left, I actually cut it down again and made it smaller and kept reducing its size until it dispensed the correct amount of glue. So the subsequent portholes down from that point on, it was really good. I didn't get any excess glue weeping out the sides or whatever. You can see some of the wriggles are maybe a bit off, like too far to one side or the other. Because you're judging by eye, it gets a bit difficult. Now, I have seen people use clear varnish, and that was going to be an option if I couldn't get the CA glue sorted out. It would be harder to apply less of this, and then you'd have subsequent cleanup to do. So the way, I'm quite happy with the way I've got it now, where I can dispense the correct amount of glue with the needle without any cleanup afterwards. So that's a method we'll continue going on with. Okay, so let's install the portholes. Now you'll have to apologise for any wobbly or shaking. I've actually got the hull on its side. I'm holding the baseboard to keep it level or vertical. So, just using tweezers. So as you can see, I've placed it dry. Now you can actually roll the tweezers within the hole to kind of spin it round to get the proper location. Okay, so if we get our dispenser, so we just dip the needle into the thin super glue, and the capillary action draws the glue up into the gap. So you go, just check it to make sure glue actually went on. And then what we do is we'll place the dispenser in the hole and then just go up and touch the porthole there. And then just double check the dispenser that glue actually came off. Okay, so that's the first one done. That wasn't a particularly neat hole to do because it was a bit ragged, but once it's on, and you can see it's secure. So for the barred portholes, what I want to do is just pre-bend it. No, you don't need any pliers or benders or whatever. Just a gentle pressure is enough. The bend etchings on the back are small enough to work. So we just bend it to approximately 90 degrees. So we'll just place the guarded one, and again we can just run the tweezers in the hole, spin it round, and then we come in with the needle. So what we'll do is for the guard, we'll just bend it down a wee bit. Now I'm going to use a medium glue rather than the thin. And we just touch the edge there. And then we can just come in, just push it down. Okay. So maybe after 3 or 4 portholes, you get a build-up of glue on the applicator. So what we need to do is just burn it off. And then just dip in water, cool it down, and then just give it a wipe to take off any residue. And then that's it cleaned up. So you just have to do that every few portholes. Okay, that's all the portholes done. Took a bit of time. Actually, like the guarded ones next to the plain ones as well. And then on the stern, there's only 3 guarded ones underneath the Admiral's Walk. So that's them done. The other side's done as well.